How could a man like this survive the Gulag Archipelago for 17 years, an old man, be forced to do slave labor in the snow, and come out and write about it? He didn't ask for euthanasia. He didn't throw himself in front of a Soviet machine gun. His will to live was stronger because he had one thing that this poor young girl, and most of you don't have. Maybe some of you do. He has God. He had God. With God, you can overcome anything. Without God, you can't overcome anything. We read something very important for you to learn because we're going through it right now under Biden and Bernie Sanders, the most dangerous man in the history of America, Bernie Sanders, the Pied Piper of communism. In 1919, when Mendel was 13, he returned to Kharkov to live with his mother, but the city was in turmoil. The Bolshe-vik Revolution was transforming Russian society. Sound familiar? The Bolshe-vik Revolution? You're going through it right now in America under this Irish gangster, Joe Biden. He's conducting, he's the orchestra leader. He's the symphonic coordinator of the Bolshevik Revolution, transforming Russian society, making Jewish study and observance increasingly difficult. So he studied in the underground, Lubavitcher Yeshiva in Kremyuk, Ukraine. He remained there until 1924 when the school was discovered and closed by the Bolsheviks. School was closed by the Bolsheviks. Mendel was forced to flee from city to city, from one underground yeshiva to another for the next 4 years. But he remained a student, studying the Torah and studying God. Could you believe this? Then we go to 1930, and what happened in Ukraine when the Soviet Revolution reached Ukraine? In 1930, pay attention because it's happening right now in the country under Joe Biden, the leader of the Bolshevik Revolution. He's dancing to the tune of Bernie Sanders and the Islamists in his administration. They're now conducting the symphony that is the last symphony of America unless we turn it around. I'll go on with the story of this man who didn't commit suicide, didn't throw himself in front of a Soviet machine gun, but had the will to live because he had God. 1930, Reb Mendel became a mentor at the Lubavitch Yeshiva in some town I can't pronounce in Ukraine. It was a difficult job. The Soviet government had intensified its efforts to stamp out religious life, and those known to be involved in Jewish education were often arrested and executed. Under harrowing circumstances, with little funding or food, the students and teachers tried their best to concentrate on their studies. Now, what would impel people to continue to study at the threat of death? What? Why would they do it? Well, I turn the page to you. Because if they didn't do it, they'd be like this poor girl in Holland who has no reason to live. She has no faith, nothing to believe in. She has one missing card in her deck. That missing card is called God.